So welcome to the latest episode of Galpaper Radio, which happens to be episode 138, where we are finally finishing up our top, I forget the numbering at this point.
For you it was 108, for me it was 86.
Yes, episodes of NuWHO. These are the best of the best, and if you don't agree with us... according to us. Like we've said on previous episodes, it's going to be almost impossible to create a definitive list unless you poll everybody in the world at this point for NuWHO. We're sorry we've missed the past couple of weeks. One was due to food poisoning, the other because we were snowed in and literally North Carolina shut down. So we couldn't get together to finish this up. And also, if you're in the Virginia area, come see us at Mysticon this upcoming weekend with John Delancey, AJ Hartley, and Todd McCaffrey, and a whole host of other really cool and interesting people, and lots of Doctor Who stuff going on.
There's a good chance I'll be in costume for some of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's what this is growing out for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So we are now officially at our top 10, or sort of my top 11, because I couldn't fix my numbering.
So you're going first.
I will go first. Okay, this is an emotional one for me. My number 10 is very emotional. It's School Reunion.
10 or 11?
10.
Okay.
Because I got an A and B on one of them. Number 10, a School Reunion. I mean, anybody who's watched the show knows how much of a Classic Who fan I am. This was the definitive thing of bringing Classic Who and NuWHO together, and I mean they literally intersect with Sarah Jane and K9 coming back to the show. That's what I really care about this episode. If you really look at the episode, I don't think it's a great episode. I thought they misused Anthony Stewart Head in it. He had real potential to be possibly the new master, which was actually floated about for a little while. But this is all about Sarah Jane and K9 and the repercussions of what it is to travel with the Doctor and being left behind in the wrong village and not where the Doctor is supposed to leave you.
Where did she think she was being dropped off?
I can't remember right now.
Where was she actually dropped off?
I can't remember right now.
She wanted to go to Croydon?
Yeah, that's right, Croydon.
It was dropped in Aberdeen.
Yes. It's been a long week prepping for the con. But yeah, no, this is all about Sarah Jane and David Tennant, meeting for the first time, and I just absolutely adore this episode. I can watch it over and over and over again. I don't ever truly believe Sarah was in love with the Doctor, but I think that was in Davy's head.
Yeah. Her relationship with both Pertwee and Baker didn't really seem like that was amorous in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you. And I think I've mentioned this before, 100%. That what makes it a good episode is Elizabeth Slade's portrayal of Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah.
And Anthony Stewart Head is a great bad guy.
He is.
It's just, again, it's a fairly wasted episode. But it's a Toby Woodhouse episode, and it's a good one. So.
Yes. Okay, your number 10.
My number 10 is The Lodger.
Really? It made it that high up on the list. Awesome.
That high up on the list. And here's why. Again, because this is favorites. I am a big comedy fan. You'll notice that a lot of my episodes that I like are comedy-based. But I think The Lodger is an excellent episode. It shows off not only the strengths of the character of the Doctor, but of Matt Smith as an actor.
Mm-hmm. And as an athlete.
And well, I mean, sure. I know that he was going to be a professional football player until an injury happened. But, it's not like we were watching an actual game of it. But yes,
I couldn't have done that. I'm not that good.
I can't run. So, and anyone who can make it from one side of the field to the other in under an hour is an athlete compared to me. But yeah, I recently introduced my oldest godson to this. And so he was about 8 or 9. I thought it was a good episode for it. And I was right. There's got some scary moments, but no scary monsters. It's got some cool stuff that could have been tied into later episodes of Doctor Who, but were not. So we'll see, unless Moffat wants to do some timey-wimey stuff. We still have their time ship that the Silence have got it, but then we saw nothing with. It could be simply, hey, we still had a set and we didn't know what to do with it. No one will notice. So
I still think it's the Master's TARDIS, but that's just me. Okay, number 9 for me. Another sort of homage episode, The Doctor's Wife. Mm-hmm. It is pure homage to. It's basically, you know, I reviewed this episode back in the day. I have gloated, I have gushed over this episode. I only have one issue with the entire thing, but that's neither here nor there. It's just a wonderful, it's Neil Gaiman's love letter to Doctor Who, in my opinion. I can't say enough good things about it, and the lady that played Idris was absolutely phenomenal in the role. And, you know, I think it's a daunting task to, one, give the TARDIS a human form, and then give the TARDIS a voice and a personality, and I think everybody was top dollar on this when it came to that. You know, some of the other things that are going along in the background, like them running through the TARDIS, I thought was a wasted moment because we could really have seen some really more pieces of classic Who in there, but we didn't get. But I think for the most part, it is Neil Gaiman's love letter to Doctor Who, and I love it. I gush over it, and because of this episode, I bought War Games at the correct time, because now it is astronomically high to purchase a copy of that. So thank you, Neil Gaiman, for putting in the cubes, because I wanted to see what tied the two together once they made that mention. So there you go.
Yeah, good episode.
Yeah,
very Burton-esque. All right, number 9 for me, two-parter, Time of the Angels and Flesh and Stone. So this is actually the first episode they filmed with Matt Smith and, well, the whole crew. How to describe the anticipation. This is an episode where not only are we getting a return of the Weeping Angels, which made me excited, but also the first return of River Song, which made me even more excited. So, of course, the that week waiting up for that was very tense. And admittedly, I'm going to say both River Song and the Weeping Angels suffer from diminishing returns. The more we see them, sometimes the less I think of them. But this episode is a great two-parter. The energy between all the cast members are fantastic. There, of course, there's that moment where you see the Weeping Angel move, which drives me absolutely up the wall. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But as far as the story goes, by itself, it's a really good one. And also it has Father Octavius in it. Well,
it's the first introduction of the papal, what's it called? The papal...
Not the papal mainframe, but the actual order of those. We also get to see the headless monks. No, not the headless monks. Yes, the headless monks, because the museum that's in there from the beginning is...
Yeah, but we don't see the monks, but yeah, that was their last thing, because the Doctor supposedly had wiped them out.
When?
I don't know. They make a mention at the very beginning.
That he wiped them out?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I would go back and check that. But, yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I was going somewhere, I can't remember. Father Octavian was played by the actor whose name escapes me, but he's now on Game of Thrones, and he was Hamlet in Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which was very cool. So yeah.
I won't have enough time to look that up. Number 7 for me. No, sorry, number 8 for me, Girl in the Fireplace. I mean, how do you follow up School Reunion? You followed up with Girl in the Fireplace. I think to me, there's nothing wrong in this episode. It's a perfect episode. It is so much fun. I think Tennant at his best. He has great chemistry with Madame de Pompadour, but of course at the time they were dating, so they totally did have the chemistry. It's just such a fun episode. The monsters are creepy. When they take off the mask and you see the gear work, I mean, it's phenomenal. When you see the body parts in the ship to replace the stuff. And the great thing is they never find out why they were after Madame Pompadour. We find out at the end. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's just a well-crafted episode all the way around. I think it's almost a flawless episode of Doctor Who. And honestly, I can't remember if we talked about this one in the past, but I adore this episode. Like I said, these are our top 10. or top 11. I mean, these are our favorites. These to me are my go-to. If I want to watch an episode of New Who, this is what I'm going to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 8 for me is Girl in the Fireplace.
Wow.
And I love this episode. It's a good episode to introduce people to. I do have a problem with it, in that I don't imagine for an instant that the Doctor would actually leave Rose and Mickey on the ship and never to see them again. So that I have a problem just to chase after Madame de Pompadour. But other than that, I think it's an excellently crafted Moffat script. Yeah. So always bring a banana to a party. Bananas are excellent. So yeah.
Okay, number 7 for me. This is one I think I've talked about before. Partners in Crime. When Donna was first introduced, I could not stand her. I did not like her. But man, Partners in Crime. We have adipose. We have the talking between the two windows across from the bad guy. I mean, them, almost running to each other throughout the entire episode. It is just such a fun, brilliant episode in my opinion. And it has adipose. Anything, you put adipose in anything now, it just makes it better.
Oh good, I'm glad you can say that makes it a good episode, because that's not true. But
I love the adipose.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you can't say you put an adipose in there, it's automatically a good episode.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, end of time.
So.
But the part about the end of time that I defend is those last 15 minutes.
Right.
And what do we have in there?
Captain Jack.
And adipose. See, adipose helps make anything better. But yeah, it's just a fun episode. It's very slapstick. It's very comedic. It goes to show the chemistry that Tate and Tennant have with their, because I mean they perform all the time on stage together. So it's just they carry that chemistry over into this episode. Yeah, it's just I love it. I could watch it over and over and over again.
I think I watched it fairly recently, and I think it was 22 minutes into the episode before they actually run into each other, which is great. That's a fantastic thing, because you can tell a story individually between the two of them and make it work. So, yeah.
And we also get William Moffat back in it.
Who?
Wilf. Moff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might have mispronounced that for a second, which doesn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah. When you say Moff, and you just kind of brain just goes, what? Okay, yeah. So number 7 for me is Human Nature and Family of Blood.
Brilliant episodes.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Paul Cornell, written by Paul Cornell, based off of his New Adventures book, which I believe starred the 7th Doctor.
Yes.
Good luck trying to find a copy of that.
Yes.
There's so little. There's so much to talk about that's good in this episode. Again, one of the things I love about Doctor Who is it shows how raw the wounds are from World War II still in the British psyche. And with this one, it's World War I. And what it would have been like to have, this country that was considered to be the greatest power on Earth, at least they considered themselves to be the greatest power of Earth, to have been invaded and attacked, and to see so many of the young men in their country be killed, and that's just the backdrop to a story which is just excellent. The scarecrows are a little goofy. Other than that, I think it's possibly one of the most flawless. And this is one of those rare cases. You were saying that what makes a good episode is one that you'll just pop in.
Yeah. This
is so good, I can't just pop it in.
Really?
Because it needs to be absorbed and appreciated. In many ways, it's kind of like The Seven Samurai for me. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, phenomenal movie.
I can only watch it once every year, so once every 2 years, because it's so good and so powerful. I have to wait.
Well, I think this episode really showed the dark side of the Doctor. That if you cross him, and you cross him in the right way, he will seek revenge.
Yeah, it's interesting. The twist at the end is certainly interesting, and I will say that the another thing that I thought was good in the callbacks during End of Time is the callback to this story, which I would in a million years would never expected that. But to draw that back and
it was interesting.
Very good. I think also it was the first glimpse into allowing the 8th Doctor to become canon.
Yes.
With the book of stuff.
Yeah.
Impossible somethings. But we get to see a Eighth Doctor-esque sketch.
Yeah.
It wasn't guaranteed that's who it was. It could have been something else, but the inclusion of that, and then of course following up with the next Doctor later as the first real footage of it, very important to a lot of us.
Okay, number 6 for me, Name of the Doctor. I really don't have to go into it. I think we've gone into Name of the Doctor quite a bit already. I love these last few episodes with Smith, leading up into the anniversary. I just adore it. You know, could some of these anniversary episodes fall on the list later on once we get more stuff? Possibly, most likely. But right now, they're just near and dear to my heart. I love just popping into those episodes and watching them and just relive the nostalgia of the anniversary. I mean, that's what some of these are about for me right now. Is the 50 years, man, 50 years of Doctor Who. And right now we're almost into the 50th anniversary of Marco Polo. It's just, yeah, no, I mean, I love, we could have asked, I think, for a better anniversary overall, I think.
I certainly think many of us were asking for a better one. I just don't think we would have gotten anything because what people were asking for wasn't possible.
Exactly.
I think what we got was certainly fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's hard to live up to the expectations of a fan sometimes, and I think Moffat did. I think he did a great job in what he gave us. Is there stuff I would have rather seen? Yes. Do I enjoy to no extent what he gave us? Yes.
Yeah. I've said what I thought about that one.
Yeah.
For me, what are we, number 6?
Number 6.
Number 6 for me is The Christmas Carol. I actually had it higher on my list until I went back and rewatched my top 15 to see if I still liked everyone as much as I did. And The Christmas Carol dropped a little bit for me, but not by any fault of its own, just because some of the other stuff that has come out was better. I think The Christmas Carol is I consider this to be the end cap to Series 5. And included the last episode of Matt Smith's first series. And I think it's an excellent way of doing it. Great use of actual Christmas theme, so the Christmas Carol itself is named from. I think it did a great job. Michael Gambon was an amazing actor in it. Matt Smith is fantastic. I will defend Sky Sharks to my dying breath. Probably not a dying breath, but I thought that was brilliant. The use of not... it's a little abusive to go back in a single person's timeline and mess with their entire life, thus by changing their brain. That's a little creepy in a way, but it works for the story, and I think it's okay for the story, certainly for saving Rory and Amy. And Rory and Amy, for what little they're in there, is pretty brilliant.
And I'll say this, you know, it's not one of my favorites when it comes to the Christmas stuff, but I'll tell you, when they pull the Ghost of Christmas feature in this, absolutely brilliant. It blew me away.
Well, I know that this does not rank the highest of Christmas episodes for you. Yeah. It does for me. Yeah. So this is definitely by far and away the best one I've
Yeah, like I said, you know, these, like we've been saying, these are our favorites. These are our go-tos. These are the ones that we enjoy the most. And you know, we're not always going to agree, but as you can tell, if you've watched all this, and we know some of you have, you can see how we do line up from time to time. Sure. With our taste and what we like. But we're also not afraid to say, you know, to say we don't like something either.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So number 5. We're down to the top 5.
That's really impressive.
This was really hard. The top 5, I think, even got harder than anything else. But for me, Vincent and the Doctor. I gushed and I loved on that episode in an earlier review, which was almost 3 years ago now at this point for me being on the show. But yeah, Vincent and the Doctor, I tear up every time I watch the episode. When I watched it the first time, I was in tears. Bill Nye, what an incredible performance he had. The guy who played Van Gogh.
Tony Curran.
Van Gogh, sorry. Pronounce it properly. Just
pronounce it with a proper Scottish accent.
Yeah, just blew me away. I mean, I think the only thing that actually makes this episode a little weak was the chicken monster But hey, it's Doctor Who. We need some sort of monster of the week. But I don't think that diminishes
The real story.
The real story and that end result that we get. Because Amy here is hoping that they have changed history, that they've made, that Van Gogh has gone on and painted more and more masterpieces, and she can't wait to see them. And no, I mean, the timeline is still preserved, but we get that one little thing, Amy's name in there, and goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just even thinking about the episode. So, I mean, it was a very touching moment that, they touched his life in a special way where, it traveled through the course of time.
Yeah, it's a great episode. It is just a great episode.
And it was also really nice that at the end of the British episode, I don't know what happened here in the States, they actually did talk about, suicide prevention, depression, stuff like that. They gave the national number for that, for people that might be suffering from the disease.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great, and again, that lists in probably my top 10 of NuWHO episodes to introduce people to the show.
Yeah.
If my family, who were not Doctor Who fans, but I showed them that one because of the art aspect of it, I think it was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, number five. I keep on looking at my list thinking I know what it is. Number 5 for me, Midnight.
Oh, what a great episode.
I love this episode. I love this episode. This is a part of that, I want to say it's 7 or 8 episode run of RTDs where he wrote just all of them in a row. Yes, I think it's the beginning of that run. And this episode, if nothing else, wow, there's so much to say about this episode. One, it talks about the importance of having a companion.
Yes.
The Doctor can be brilliant, but if he doesn't have the hearts of the people, it's going to go against him. As almost all Doctor Who, it's a trope in Doctor Who. They show up, something happens, they immediately get blamed. It's usually the Doctor and the companion who convince the people otherwise, and they end up saving the day, more or less. But without a companion, the Doctor's on his own. This is, this episode, if I thought I physically could do it, it would be something I would want to act in. But the acting in this is just tremendous. Patrick Troughton's son is in it. The dude from Merlin is in it. We've already said this, so never mind.
Yeah.
It's a great episode. I have no second guessing as to why it would be on my top 5.
Okay, this is where you break into my A and my B.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my 4B, which is Day of the Doctor.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I could reiterate everything that we've just said in previous episodes of GPR. What I just said earlier with Name of the Doctor. It's part of the anniversary. It's leading up. Yeah, it's leading up to the regeneration. I love it. And it's just, I've gushed about it enough in other episodes. If you really want to hear a full review, understand why I love this episode so much, go back there. But like I said, it's part of the anniversary. It's part of, the ending of Smith. It has some, and leading us to getting Capaldi. I think this is a magical time for Who, and this is part of that of this transition that we're going through right now.
I agree with you 100%, and part of it is just having taken part of the 50th anniversary, and being central to this experience where you and I went and saw it twice in 3 days.
Yeah.
With groups, the first time we saw it, when it was actually, in Greensboro didn't get it on the actual projection date. We had to wait until that following Monday, but we went with a group. We saw it at Geeksboro.
Yeah.
We saw it live with no commercial interruptions, and just being a part of that and cheering when everyone else cheered and laughing when everyone else laughed. That really made it for me. And then seeing it again on the Monday with a packed packed theater,
And with
nothing but Who fans.
And with people that hadn't seen it yet, because Girl Next to Us hadn't seen it.
I would imagine that probably 80% of the people hadn't seen it.
And then with those extra little things that they put in there. And please, BBC, give us the 50th anniversary box set that you're giving people in England.
They announced it yesterday.
Oh, they announced that we were getting it? Oh, that's awesome.
And the rumor is, and this is not fact, but the rumor is that also included, and there might be the Blu-ray of an Adventure in Space.
Oh, please, because we still haven't had a listing for that yet.
Yeah, it's not. It's Moffat announced yesterday that we can maybe expect that, but didn't get more.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check the Doctor Who shop in Amazon. Okay, what is your?
What is my? So you're not gonna
Well, no,
do,
because I actually
okay.
match up because I started first.
Okay.
I think that works great.
All right. Number 4 for me.
Yeah.
Is the Pandorica opens in the Big Bang.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of switching in the last, we've had, by the time I wrote this list a month and a half, 2 months ago, we've started filming. And now I've been watching a lot of episodes and things have been switching around for me. Again, Mercurial, this is not set in stone, but again, Series 5 is my favorite series of all of NuWHO. It's just a great ending to it. I sometimes get drawn into the big Stonehenge scenes and the big flamboyant speeches, but I forget about the ending to the Big Bang with the wedding and it's so good, and it's such a it encapsulates a full season in a way that hadn't been done since Series 1 with Rose, and it's just excellent. It's excellent, and we have a kind of callbacks to other bits of Who history, and to have this giant, epic, huge, not quite battle at the end of the first part. But then the second part is just very quiet.
Yeah.
Only the main people running around a museum. It's really, it's good Who. It's really good Who.
Okay, so 4A for me. Can you guess what it's gonna be?
I'm gonna get my thumbs ready.
Time of the Doctor. And which sort of wraps up the anniversary stuff. We get our. I love it. I think this is my favorite of the bunch. I mean, we just talked about it again. I mean, I'm not going to rehash everything we talked about, but like I said, it just encompasses this 50th anniversary, the passing of the torch, and I mean, does it have its faults? Yes. I think it's probably some of my favorite stuff right now just because it is so new. It is the anniversary. I'm still excited about that. And now going into our first convention where we're going to be talking Who.
Yeah.
With lots of people doing a lot more Who stuff than I anticipated. I'm excited about.
All told 5 Who panels, sort of? Or there are 5 panels?
Yeah, there are 5, and we cover them all. People like us on doing Doctor Who stuff at their conventions. What can I say? We've become a staple here in the Southeast of doing Who panels. But yeah, no, I mean, we get our first taste of Capaldi. Yes, I gotta say it like that. It has me so excited. Because now they're throwing around when we might get the first episode now, and they're mentioning as soon as July.
Yeah.
Not confirmed.
They're almost done filming the first episode, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm just.
Have we discussed the Tales of Trenzalore? The books. There's a book series out, and it's 4 short stories about the Doctor spends 300 years on Trenzalore. And we don't get to see everything that happens, so there's a series of, I think it's an ebook only,
right now
that has 4 short stories where the Doctor goes up against, I think it's like, it doesn't get against, but involves the Mara Ice Warriors and two other.
I think one's Weeping Angels.
Weeping Angels.
And I forget the other one was, because I see the covers in my head. One actually, I think is the other one's Suntorns. I think is the other one. And if the BBC does what they've been doing, they release them in new formats. 6 to 8 months later, they'll collect them into a single volume.
Yeah.
To release in physical print and audio.
Well, I think one of the things that Moffat has done, and Time of the Doctor certainly has just read fuel to that fire, is he's purposefully put gaps in between episodes so that Big Finish, I mean, he is a Big Finish fan, Big Finish can write stories to put in the middle of it. So this is a good opportunity.
And also, because I get a chance to see this again, the 5 Doctors is canon.
Wasn't my choice. All right. So 3 for me, and is the 11th Hour.
Nice.
And
nice.
You know,
I got to give you a pat on the back for that one. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
11th Hour is a great episode. It just is. And if I have to choose an episode to get people, I mean, if someone says, look, I'm only ever going to watch one episode of Doctor Who ever, you know, I'm time locked, 11th Hour might not be the episode. But if someone says I'm looking to get into, you know, Doctor Who, 11th Hour is usually going to be my first choice. And if they seem like they really want to, and I might suggest a couple of other ones before that. But we'll talk about those in a moment. It's a great episode, and I'm sure we will discuss it in more detail in a few. So I'll just go ahead and pass it on to yours.
Okay, number 3 is a mini-sode. It was something I was not expecting. Nobody was expecting. Nobody was expecting when it was going to be released, because originally this was going to be released for Red Nose, the charity thing. But it happened to be somebody's birthday, so they released it, I think, 2 days early. It is Night of the Doctor. We actually saw it before some people in England saw it, because nobody knew it was being released.
There's a reason for that, too.
Yeah. It was McGonn's birthday. That's one of the reasons why they released it early, from what I was told.
It was going to leak. Someone was going to leak it.
Really?
Yeah. And it helped that it was McGonn's birthday.
I like my reason.
Oh, I agree. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I wish in a perfect world that that's the reason. It just sounds like they...
In my bubble, that's the reason.
In your head canon.
Yes. But yeah, oh my God. Nobody was expecting that. Nobody. I know I wasn't. I mean, that was the last thing I expected to see. But when I heard that voice, I'm like, because I listened to the Big Finish audios, I know McGonn's voice, I know the 8th Doctor's voice. And I was just like, I think we talked a lot about this when we discussed the episode, where, you know, they do tie in all of Big Finish, what they could actually tie into it. I mean, this is an absolute love letter to McGonn as being the Doctor, what Big Finish has done during the, what are they, the prairie years, the wilderness years, whatever they're called.
The wilderness years, and I think Big Finish, oh, this is where I think they're 2001 is when Big Finish kind of got started, or at least when McGonn got started. Yeah. I could be wrong, with Storm Warning?
Storm Warning, yeah.
He did?
And that was, if I remember correctly, that is, I want to say either 12 or 16. So, I mean, that is very early on in that main range of stuff, because they started with Colin, McCoy, and Davison as originally, and then it grew from there. And quickly they brought McGonn on, and he was so popular that he got his own range on top of the main range. And yeah, I just, oh, what a wonderful, wonderful thing for the anniversary is to get him back in outfit, and a new outfit, you know, and we get the regeneration scene, we get, what's the planet called? Karn back. I mean, there's just so many little hidden references. We get the first real sense of how the mentality of the Mind War has affected the people that are caught up in it. Because, I mean, everybody wants to be saved by the Doctor, but yeah, just the fact that he's a Time Lord, regardless of who he is, he's the bad guy. And that's not something that he ever was before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Night of the Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we could have not gotten... The Day of the Doctor could have been just Matt Smith just sitting there looking at the camera for 30 minutes. Just with having Night of the Doctor, I would have been happy. Yeah. I'm sure Matt Smith would have been very entertaining looking at the camera for 30 minutes, but...
yeah, he'd probably do the Drunken Giraffe at some point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What is your number 2?
Number 2, Silence of the Library and Force of the Dead.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
No. I love this episode. And again, I love this episode for a number of reasons, but it's mainly because of a River Song. I am a River Song fan. I think had River Song never shown up except for this episode, people would still be speaking incredibly highly of her.
Oh yeah.
I just love this episode. A library planet, boom, check. River Song, check. Xenoarchaeology, check. The weird twists, yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. I don't. Have we done a review of this yet?
No, actually, it's not an episode we've ever reviewed.
We'll eventually review it, and I will sing its praises then. Needless to say, River Song is the main reason I like this episode,
well, I think the brilliance of River Song, and I might have said this in previous episodes when we've talked about River, is that she knew something the Doctor did not know.
Mm-hmm.
She knew she had this history with the Doctor. She knew all this stuff, and the brilliant thing is, this is the first time they actually meet, but it is also the last meeting River has with the Doctor.
Well, at the time of this episode, yes, until...
no, as of right now, it still holds.
Name of the Doctor. She'd already died when in Name of the Doctor.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course she also says spoilers there.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah,
No,
I mean, it's interesting.
No, I think
yeah, you're right.
And I'll tell you something.
But wait, was that a figment of his imagination? A part of his psyche?
I don't know. It's Moffat.
I'm just asking.
I will say this though. Can you imagine how much better River Song would have been had Forest in the Library and or Forest of the Dead and Silence in the Library had been an episode for Eccleston in place of. So had you gotten River Song in all three of the Doctors,
that would have been really cool.
Did you know in a recent interview Matt Smith said he didn't want Peter Capaldi to bump into River Song. He was protective of her.
And Moffat also said the same. Has also said the same thing to an extent that there has to be a reason why. The reason why he liked Smith and Kingston together was there was an obvious age difference. And they didn't look like they were a couple.
Yes.
And like if you put Capaldi with Kingston, they would look like a couple.
Yeah.
And unless he has a really good story, he wants to stay away from that. What I'd rather see is a Captain Jack River Song story.
Oh, sure.
I think that could be a lot of fun.
I think Kingston, I think if anyone said, hey, listen, we want to do a spin-off show, we want it to be the River Song, Adventures of River Song, I think that time has passed.
Yeah.
And it would be nice because, unfortunately, everything that we see after this two-parter is River Song having her entire life be basically looking for the Doctor. And that's not how she's presented in this episode, as being an independent woman who can keep the Doctor on his toes and keep him guessing. It's great. It's great.
Okay, that's number 2 for me now. Wow, when this aired, another moment I was not expecting. I literally, when I saw the hand and the jacket sleeve, I literally freaked out, started screaming, cheering. I absolutely lost it. It's Time Crash. Anybody that has watched the show, I mean, especially almost a year ago now, Davison by far is my Doctor. He will always be my Doctor, and getting to know him and actually being able to call him Fred now, it just makes everything all that much more wonderful. But I mean, this was a meeting of a classic Doctor and a NuWHO Doctor, and I don't think they could have picked a better pairing of the two.
Certainly not more appropriate.
I know. I mean, they had such great chemistry together. I love Time Crash. I've gushed about Time Crash multiple times. I will continue to gush about Time Crash because everything that Moffat has Tennant say, and I think Tennant, I think it was coming from Tennant's heart there, is everything I have ever felt and thought about Doctor Who, about the Fifth Doctor, just about everything that we get in that episode. Yeah, I mean, I get warm fuzzies. I absolutely adore this, and I absolutely love this little mini-sode. And you can't go wrong watching Time Crash over and over and over again, especially if you are a fan of Classic Who, and you want to see just how much love Moffat has for what has come before, because this is a Moffat thing during the Davies era, and again, it was just absolutely incredible. And you know, I would love to see Capaldi or Capaldi, however you want to pronounce it. I know we pronounce it wrong quite a bit. I would love to see him interact with some of the classic guys. You know, it doesn't have to be Davison, but I mean, maybe I'd love to see him with McCoy or Colin. I don't care. I like getting those moments where we get to see classic and NuWHO intersect with one another, because I think they create special moments. It's not like I want to see it every episode, and I think they handled it very well during the anniversary. I mean, of course, if I was in charge, we would have had everybody. I don't care, because I didn't think a lot of people wanted that, but
we did have everybody. We did. They were all in there.
Yeah. Not the way I wanted them to be in there.
Wow.
But yeah, I love Time Crash. I can't say enough good things about it. I have in the past. I get very somber talking when I talk about about this. This is definitely Moffat and Tennant's love letter to classic Who.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I don't have the connection that you do to it. I don't think I ever saw a Davison episode growing up. I think it was all Baker for me. But you know, in light of the relationship now between Tennant and Davison, I think you're absolutely correct. And if had I been including episodes in here instead of stories, I probably would have had this one pretty high up there, because it's a good one. And I think Davison was telling us that originally this episode was designed to be twice as long as it was, and they read the dialogue so quickly that they had to figure out some new dialogue because they had to add on to it because it was over like that.
Like I said, they just have such great working chemistry together.
Absolutely.
And I definitely think Davison fell right back in the role. I mean, he just went right back into it, you know, without missing a beat, like he had just left the day before and he was just putting the coat and hat back on.
Well, he is just putting the coat and hat back on. That's his original coat and hat. They're just a little snugger. I mean, that, you know, hey, if nothing else, Davison, congratulations, because what, 30-something years or so? 30 years. 80s. Yeah, 30 years. That's impressive. You know, I can't wear my pants from last month, so, you know, good on you.
Okay, we're down to your number one.
My number one.
Wait, I feel like I should be
the episode of Doctor Who that I like the best is Blink.
Really?
Absolutely. Absolutely, hands down. I thought about it. I couldn't decide if it was 11th Hour, Silence, or Blink, and when it comes down to it, I do not think that there is a better 45 minutes of television in the entire history of television than Blink. Now, that's not saying it's the best Doctor Who story. If we were trying to rank this based off of what we actually think is a good story, no, I'd still go with Blink. If it was the best example of Doctor Who, no. But
That's Time and Monsters.
Oh, Time and Monsters, absolutely. Or Time Flight. There is no Time in Monsters. I'm
Love and Monsters, sorry.
So, here's the thing. This is Moffat at his best, as far as I'm concerned. You want Doctor Who to be about time travel. They travel through time. They want it to be non-linear. It's non-linear. We get the words timey-wimey, and as annoying as those are, it is an apropos statement to describe how Moffat sees the show.
Oh yeah.
We have excellent performances by all the actors. Just ridiculous. Carey Mulligan is fantastic. Would I like to see her back? No, actually I wouldn't, because I think this is one of those things where had we never seen a Weeping Angel ever again, I would have been happier. And again, I say this every single time we mention the Weeping Angels. Every time we see them, I like them less. This is them at their best. The idea of not being able to blink, the fear of statuary, the way the story structure works, the use of the DVDs, just the scene in the hospital with the rain stubs. 16 DVDs.
Wrong.
How many?
17.
17 DVDs. That was one of the two. Yeah, it's good. But what makes this episode truly brilliant, and what makes this episode better than anything else I've ever seen on television is the fact that the episode is interactive with the audience.
Oh, yes.
The first time I watched it, I felt there was something wrong. I couldn't figure out what it was. I watched it again. This is actually one of 2 or 3 episodes of Doctor Who I've ever watched where I had to turn the lights on too because I was getting creeped out. And realizing that, we frequently see the angels not moving, especially when they're standing behind people. Well, if they're standing behind them, the person can't see them, so what's keeping the angel from moving? And it's us. We as the audience, watching the actual show, are quantum locking the angels. And that is brilliant. That takes it one step beyond anything else you have in television. I have not seen anything like that. I probably will never see anything like that again. And it's why I feel mildly betrayed in Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone when we see the angels move, because you take this concept that is so... I've never even heard Moffat talk about doing it intentionally, but even if it's unintentional, it's still so brilliant they should have recognized it, and I think that they should have kept it that way. But again, I have watched this episode 30, 40 times.
Oh yeah.
I kept it on a flash drive. Oh, you haven't seen Doctor Who? Boom, this was my go-to episode. It's not a great go-to episode. Because again, you don't want to show somebody the best episode of it because it's all downhill from there, as far as my personal interest is concerned. But when you have a good, and it's not a great introduction to who the Doctor is, but you do get a machine that goes bing. So
yes, you do.
So yeah.
Are we ready for my number one?
Yeah, go for it.
My number one episode. I feel like I don't know. I feel like a drum roll. Hands down, and I thought about this for a long, long time, and it probably has been my number one episode for a long, long time. 11th Hour.
Yeah.
Hands down. I think it's just a brilliant episode. It was them taking a huge risk at the time because they just lost Tennant, and they were just acting their hearts out in it. I mean, I listened to interviews and stuff with Matt and Karen, and it was make it or break it time because they were coming off of Tennant. People did not want to like Smith because he was really seeing Tennant because everybody loved Tennant at the time, and they brought it on so many levels. Very rarely do I feel that the actor is the Doctor by the end of the first episode. Smith had me sold that he was the Doctor by the end of that first episode. Mm-hmm. This is an episode I could introduce people to Doctor Who with. You don't have to know anything else. You get everything you need in this episode. It's fast-paced, it's fun, it's witty, it's clever, and it's the one time we get the camera shot seeing inside the Doctor's mind thing.
The Sherlock cam?
The Sherlock cam. I love this episode. Are there some things wrong with it? Of course. I mean, I don't think anything's perfect. You can always find flaws, especially with the year and date on Rory's name tag being a nurse. It had the wrong date on there.
And that just shows that you are a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
Yeah, because everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. It was just an honest mistake on that one. But it's just so much fun. It's a great introductory episode. And it's part of season 5, which was so far the best season of NuWHO. Definitely the best season Smith has had.
Oh yes.
There is just so much right going into that episode and into the rest of that season. Mm-hmm. I mean, the scenes with Amelia, the scenes with Amy, the whole thing with him getting time wrong, which, I mean, to me almost goes back to classic Who, and of course dropping off of Sarah Jane. Mm-hmm. The TARDIS never takes him where he wants to go; he takes him where he needs to go, sort of thing. I love the episode. It's one that I could just watch over and over and over again, and I think I have watched it over and over again. Sometimes I just pop it in there and do it on repeat, just if I just need something in the background going. It's just, and who knew we were going to get what we got from all those actors and characters at the start of that new season. And it's also interesting, that was also the first season that they went fully high def. Some of the specials they did beforehand, I think at least 2 of the specials, Waters of Mars, and then End of Time were filmed in high def.
Also the Planet of the Dead. So
Was President of the Dead done in
the
high
next
def?
Doctor is, I think, the only one of those specials
Yeah.
that wasn't. I think.
But there's even there's a quality difference set wise and stuff like that, because I think they were still experimenting with what they need to do with the sets and things like that, with going from standard definition to the high definition with Smith's error, and it's brilliant. And that little speech at the end gave me shivers up the spine, where we actually get to see, McGowan. We got to see all the doctors, and at that point, one can no longer argue that McGowan was not canon. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know how much of the TV movie is actually canon due to rights issues, but
I don't think it has to do with rights issues. I think it just has to go with, we would like to ignore some of the things that they said.
But I mean, I honestly,
all of it, actually.
But I honestly, I don't know, because of the Spielberg rights and Amblin Entertainment involved. I mean, I really don't know. And with the way it works over in England, where if you create a character, it is the property of the writer, so it's a little strange, going from one country to another country with the copyright. So I'm not sure, what we get, because I mean, when we did watch Night of the Doctor, there was a lot more references to the Big Finish stuff than the TV movie. But yeah, I know 11th Hour, I think, is a great introduction episode for anybody to start on Doctor Who. It's one I have made many people to watch to get them hooked and start into Doctor Who.
Yeah. It's not an episode that I will throw on to watch, mainly because it is the episode I throw on when I'm introducing somebody else now. And so there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And I include Blink and the library episodes, and including on those I almost show exclusively to people. Because what I do is, yes, 11th Hour is the one that you want to introduce people to. But if they enjoy that and they want to continue watching Series 5, you need to see Blink.
Yes.
And you need to see Force of the Dead, Silence of the Library to understand to appreciate who River Song is.
Yeah.
So normally what I do is say, okay, watch Blink, watch the 2 library episodes, then go on to 11th Hour.
Yeah.
If after those 4 episodes you are not interested in Doctor Who is not the show for you. Because those 4 episodes should cement you as a fan. And admittedly, I know people who don't like Matt Smith as the Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
And I know people who don't like Tennant as the Doctor.
Yeah.
But I think it's very hard to argue with those 4 episodes as being foundation for an enjoyable fandom experience.
So we're done.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
We have ranked NuWHO.
Of course, we will be starting this list entirely over again once the first episode of Capaldi comes out. Look for the top 87 stories, followed by the top 88 stories. A week later than that, 89, 90. We've been told that we aren't going to be getting a break. We're getting a full 13 seasons, but multiplies. So yes, we could be getting a full 13 seasons.
I would love that.
Though they've already broken that. So
yeah. Let us know what you think. We've enjoyed your comments. I've enjoyed commenting back to what you've thought about our endeavor, and we are looking at our next endeavor of ranking all of classic Who.
It'll never happen, but
it will. Even if I do it myself, I will rank it. I will rank it all.
Ugh. That is awesome in the truest sense of the word. So.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, so hopefully we get to see some of you at Mysticon this upcoming weekend.
Absolutely. If you see us, come up and say hi. Yeah. I will be the War Doctor for a majority of the weekend. Come
out to our GPR panel proper that I have let Drew here as sort of run this time around.
He has let me facilitate.
Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Why I ended up doing, we're going to be doing GPR trivia.
Which you will be running, and
yes,
I will be.
participating.
I will. You will not be going up against me.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to compete. That was apparently made clear to me right off the get-go.
Yes. Because it's called GPR presents Doctor Who trivia at MysticCon. So this is it for this episode. Be on the lookout for a bunch of review episodes coming out. Our convention episodes, which will be coming out, and. Wow, we got some interesting stuff.
We'll have some DVD episodes coming out in the next month or so.
We also have, and also I forgot to say, we got a review. Time of the
Destiny of the Doctor and Light at the End.
Light at the End. Yes.
Well, I hope we would do both of those.
Yeah, both of those.
We've got
lots of stuff.
Lots
of really cool stuff leading up to our 150th episode of GPR, which will be a real
humdinger of an episode.
Yes, very timey-wimey. So until next time, I am your host, David Beauchamp. I am joined by
Drew Meyer.
And that is I don't know how to end this off, so peace.